Hello, guys. Welcome to another segment of Reality Check. So, today we're going to be discussing about entrepreneurship, and I have a guest in the house, in the building. So, sir, may you please introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you. I'm happy to be here again. This is beautiful. You're doing a wonderful job here. So my name is Peter Ishaku, and I'm a Nigerian, and I'm a PhD student in Cyprus International University, electrical and electronics engineering. And I'm in engineering, but then I'm into business. That's why we're talking about entrepreneur in the first place.
Yeah.
So business is, I believe, it's not something that you must just study for it. So somehow I'm in engineering, but I'm into business. I'm an entrepreneur because I do some stuff. So yeah, that is it.
Okay, I would want to be an entrepreneur after this session, of course. So, how can one be an entrepreneur?
Okay, now basically, what is an entrepreneur? In layman language or words, an entrepreneur is just somebody that provide services or sell goods or just something, to make profit. Basically, in layman's words. So, being an entrepreneur is all about making profit, right? Almost everybody can be an entrepreneur. I mean, you can just decide to start selling something, start doing something and make money. And you can call yourself an entrepreneur. But then, that is just being an entrepreneur. But being a good or effective entrepreneur is a different thing entirely. Because there are some things you need to put in place, which I believe we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
As
What are the qualities that one should have to be a good entrepreneur, as you said?
Okay. All right. Now there is a number of things. Believe me, we can go on and on to talk about this because it's a lot. But then we'll just take a few which are more important to me in particular. Now, first of all, you need to have passion
Okay.
for what you're doing. Because if you have passion, you won't need an external push to do what you're gonna do. Your passion will push you and it will make you strive for higher heights, and you will make it. Basically, because you have that passion. When challenges come, because they will definitely come in business or entrepreneurship, as an entrepreneur, challenges will definitely come. But when you have that passion, it will keep you moving because you are passionate about it. This is what you want to do.
That inner drive.
Exactly. And that is one. Now, secondly, apart from just having a passion, you need to actually know what you are doing. You need to know what service you want to provide, or what goods you want to sell, or what kind of a business you want to do to make money. It doesn't have to be selling anything or providing service. You can just put your money, invest in something that it gives you back profit. That can also make you an entrepreneur and stuff like that. So you need to know what you're doing. You need to understand your market, understand your environment, so that you'll be able to make the right decision, right choices on, okay, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to do it, and stuff like that. So you need to understand your environment and what the issue is. Because most importantly, when it comes to business, it's about solving problem. You need to provide a service that will solve somebody's problem, or sell a good that will solve someone's problem, and then the person will pay in return for it.
Yeah.
Basically, except if you're okay, even if you're investing in something, that thing you're investing in is providing service or selling goods to someone somehow. So that is it. And also, it has to do with goal setting. Because if you're just doing business anyhow, you will get anyhow outcome. You would. But when you have a target and you set goals, when you get shaked, when something shake you, challenges comes and stuff like that, you'll be able to maintain your focus on where you're going to, and then you move.
Yeah, we have people that are passionate in business.
Yes.
Not like in business as such, but then they have a talent.
Okay.
Maybe I'm passionate in public speaking, but then that thing is not putting food on my table. How can I put a price on it? You get? Because you said entrepreneurship is all about getting profit
Yes.
and problem solving. Yeah, people enjoy my music, but I'm not earning from it.
Okay.
So how can I, make it and
Okay. Now, it's first of all, when you're doing something, the reason behind it matters.
yeah.
If you're doing it for the fun of it, you just want to have fun, maybe you're into public speaking, you just speak, put it on your social media, and or just send it to friends, or you sing, you just sing and put it. If you're just doing it for the fun of it, Well, it might just end there because there are a lot of talented musicians, wonderful people with wonderful voices, but they end up singing in their bathroom, when they're taking their shower and stuff like that, or probably singing to their friends and stuff like that. So the reason it matters a lot. So if you're just doing it for the fun of it, okay, you can just go ahead. But when you want to make it a business, then you have to put some things in place, such as you need to learn, like I said, also you need to understand the market. If you're into music, you need to understand the musical market industry. If you're into providing services, depending on the service you're providing, you need to understand your market. So first of all, you need to understand your market, what you have.
Competitors.
Exactly, exact competitors. So most of the times they will still be there, but it doesn't matter. You just need to find a way of rebranding and putting your stuff out there in a different way, so that people will prefer your service or your good to what another person is doing. So first of all, like I said, you need to know what you want to do. You need to have a reason. If you want to monetize what you're doing, then you need to have a plan for it. You need to decide that, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do by studying the market. And then you need to have also mentorship to an extent will help, because when you have somebody that is already doing what you're doing, then the person can help you up somehow. Even if it is not direct contact, you can just study what the person is doing and then try to do that. You probably study, you need to be persistent in what you're doing. You need to have goals. You need to have specific goals. You need to have timeline to your goals also that you want to do that. So there's a lot of things to put into consideration in order to monetize what you're doing. But basics is, from the beginning, you need to decide, am I doing this for fun or for business? So that will depend on what you're going to do.
Okay, guys, he mentioned something about mentorship. So we're going to have he's going to teach us why we need a mentor, how can we get a mentor in our next session. So make sure you don't miss that session, because it's very important. We all need mentors, right? So moving on. In Africa, we have people that are learned. We have engineers, masters, and stuff like masters, people that have attained PhDs and all that. But then there's lack of employment. Maybe in Zimbabwe, for example, where I come from, the unemployment rate is very high. Like, there are no jobs there. But then we have entrepreneurs. We have people that have gone to school for business, but then they are not providing those jobs. And I am sure that there's the same scenario in Nigeria. How can we as Africans how can we become entrepreneurs in Africa? How can we start businesses and eradicate unemployment?
Okay. Now, when we're talking about unemployment, in Africa, yes, there are people that have gone to school, masters, but at the same time, if you check, the literacy rate is actually low compared to other continents, physically. So now that is an issue, because education is very important. Now, first of all, employment has to do with two sides, the private sector and then the government sector. One of the major problems we're having in Africa is we depend so much on the government. We expect the government to give us everything.
The government.
Exactly. We expect the government to create all the jobs and we get that. But it's not true. It doesn't work like that. There's no government in this world that gives job to all its citizens. It doesn't work like that.
But that's what they tell us when they're campaigning.
Yeah, because it's a campaign. They want to just get your vote, and that is it. Yeah, it is very important. Their policies and things they put in place can boost employment rates, but they can't provide all of it. Okay, so, but one of the, yes, I will still fall to the government, because based on bad governance, things that are supposed to put in place, to put some businesses or some structures in place that will generate employment, our leaders end up embezzling that money and put it in their pocket, or they take it to Switzerland. You hardly see an unemployed person in Switzerland, because they have our money there, and stuff like that. So yeah, the government has a fault, because they are, most especially in Africa, they don't really do their best in terms of providing jobs. Now, so that is one part of it. The second part of it is the private sector. Now, if you check these developed countries, like US, for example, the private sector is doing so well. It's employing thousands of people, millions of, not, what am I
Everyone
saying?
wants to go to
Millions of
US. Mhm.
millions of people. You know, the Facebook, Google, you know, Amazon. This a lot of business. The private sector is going well, is booming well, and they're employing a lot. Now, the problem we're having in Africa is most of us we are depending on the government, and so we are being disappointed by that, and then we are not looking into the private sector in the sense that even if the government does not give you a job and the private sector doesn't still have enough to offer you, why don't you start up something? That job you are looking for, somebody created that. Okay, so if it is not available for you, why don't you create one? Basically. So we have this mentality, okay, let me graduate and then I'll get a job. But what if you don't get a job? Why don't we start thinking in a different way? Okay, let me graduate and provide a job. When we have more people thinking in this way, then the private sector will increase. And then also when such people with this mindset get into the government, they will also expand it and the employment rate will improve. So I think the major problem we have in Africa is our mindset, our orientation. Because the norm is grow up, go to school, graduate, and get employed. And it doesn't really work anymore. So we need to change our orientation in the sense that we need to start thinking of how to create jobs that will employ ourselves and also employ others and will eradicate this. So it is very important for students in particular. Don't just go to school, learn, read, and pass exam and you come out nothing really. Think. Before I got employed, before I started working with my school, I was into business, you know, and stuff like that, because I couldn't get the kind of job I wanted. So I had to create one, basically.
Yes.
You know, I had to create one that would suit me. So that is how it is. And you'll never hear me complain that there is no job. Okay, we are now in Cyprus. Everybody's complaining there's no job. But some of us are not complaining. Why? Because we found a way of creating the job for ourselves. So people should start thinking in that way. And it's not that difficult to create, because all you need to do is study your environment, see what is lacking, and try to provide solution, make up for it. And people will pay for these things, basically. So we should change our orientation to stop looking for a job and try to create more. When we start thinking in that manner, it boosts our brain and we develop and we do things, and you see that employment rate will go up. So like I said, it's two ways. The government has a part to play, the private sector has a part to play, and then we ourselves that are busy looking for the job, we should know what to. And also some of our youth, why they are not employed is because all they have is a certificate.
Yes.
The problem, if you go for an interview, they will ask you, what can you do? What can you offer? The world pays you for what you can do.
I'll just show them my 4 GPA.
So you can just cram and get your 4, but what can you do? So that is the problem. We just study, but we don't really learn. We don't really, train ourselves in something that we can offer to the world. So that is one thing that is important. When you train yourself and you become valuable, make yourself valuable, then people will look for you. In fact, you won't look for a job will look for you.
Exactly.
So the important thing is train yourself, develop yourself, create value for yourself, and then the job will find you. People will pay and stuff like that, and you'll be able to employ others, which I believe is more important. If people, I read something on social media and somebody said, people are begging for bread. They are praying for bread. Papa God, I want to own the bakery. So you see, that is how it is. So we need to change our orientation, our perspective, and all of that, and our prayer points.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So we have people that have started all these small projects, but then they want to make those projects global. They want to go global. How can someone do it? Like they're just doing it on a low scale. They just, if the profit is coming, it's just for them and their families, or it's not even enough. But then it's a big business idea. How, as an entrepreneur, can you tell that person how to grow and become bigger?
Okay. Now, also, I'll repeat this again. The reason why you're doing something matters a lot. If you go into business because you just want to earn a living that you feed yourself, probably your immediate family and stuff like that, then You can just do it, and the normal money that you're getting, $50, $100, that is enough for you, and you continue that way, and you won't have a problem. You'll be satisfied. But when you want to go global, and you want to make it a bigger, looking at the big picture, then it's a different thing entirely. Not totally different, but you have to face it in a different way. Now, you need to have, that means if you want to take it global, means you have goals. Now, if you have goals, you need to work with timeline. You need to make sure you achieve your goals. You need to work hard. You need to, like, business is not just about, you need to study about it. You need to understand the environment, understand the business itself. It is very important. So if you want to go global, you need to study, you need to understand it, and then you need to learn how to take calculated risks. The problem that most entrepreneurs are having is the issue of risks. Most people don't know how to take risks. It just, it looks good. Boom, they put their money and the money goes, and one is depressed. Or someone is hanging himself and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
I was once a victim. Because I tried forex trading.
I did also, I lost $200 in that. It was painful because that was all I had then.
Oh my God.
It was very painful. I just thought it looked good. The person that introduced me to it made it look so good.
Telling you,
I
their
just
account
jumped
would just
into
be in
it.
blues. Everything is just
I
in
gave in
blues.
everything. All I had was $200. I was expecting at the end of the month I'll have $500, and I was so heartbroken. Why? Because I did not calculate my risks.
Yeah,
I did
it's
not
true.
even understand the market, how it. It just looked good, and I jumped into it. So you see, that's the mistake most of us make. So you need to take calculated risks. Basically, you need to be persistent, because a lot of times things will look like it's not gonna work. But you need to be persistent, and you need that passion, that inner passion, to drive you. And you also need to be open-minded to the situation, because things are changing. Change is constant. That's for sure. So you need to be open-minded and see how things are going. When change comes, move with the trend. Try to, make and be unique.
Now everything is on Amazon.
Basically, So you need to learn, study, rebranding, advertisement. All of these count. So, but that is it. Basically, you need to understand that, okay, I want to go global, and then you put things in place. So it's like you're building a bungalow, and a person building a skyscraper. The foundations are different. So if you're going far, you need to build the foundation strong. That means you need to work hard. You need to study. You need to understand your environment. I said I don't like reading, but that doesn't mean that I don't read. I do it when it's necessary. So, and stuff like that. So it is important, actually, that you know what you want to do and build a strong foundation. You need to study it, you need to understand it, and then you need to move with a plan.
Don't just move randomly.
Exactly. When you move with a plan, then you can get to that big platform. But if you are just doing it to earn daily living, then you can just be doing it anyhow and just earn your $50, $100, or any amount you want. You'll be fine.
Unfortunately, guys, that was very informative. Thank you so much for for coming to this show. So
My
what are your
pleasure.
last words to someone that wants to do business, but then they just don't know how to? They just feel like, I need to do business, but then they're afraid of taking the first step, or of just moving out of that closet.
So basically, they don't want to do business. That is it. Because it is important to have self-conviction in business, because it requires a lot of courage. You need to be courageous. You need to be sure that this is what you want to do. Once you know this is what to do and you're courageous, you know that this is what you want to do, then study about it, understand it, and have a plan, and then move into it. Once you have a plan, things will actual plans, realistic plans, step by step, then things will work out somehow. So anybody that has business idea or want to move into business, you want to be an entrepreneur, please do not just dream about it. Wake up from your dream and put it into action. Wake up from your put it into action. Don't be scared. You might lose one or two things. It might be shaky at the start. It might not seem like it's working, but when you're persistent, when you keep your faith, it's gonna work out at the end of the day. So don't give up. It might. I've done many businesses. If I start counting businesses I've done and failed, you will not believe it. I've done almost every kind of business on this island. I'm telling you. And some did not work out, some worked out, and stuff like that. But you can't give up. That's the thing. You can't give up. You need to keep pushing, keep going. So you need to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. That is very important. So don't be scared. Move ahead. Do what you want to do. Just do it. You know, like Nike will say, just do it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, someone once told me that, like, if we are to empty all the accounts, the sweet accounts, if we're to empty all those accounts and then give everyone $1 million, that money will end up in the same pockets, which is because of the mentality that you can't. If we give you $1 million right now, what are you going to do about it? It's all about a mentality. You cannot be a millionaire because your bank account says so. You can only be a millionaire because your mindset is of a millionaire. So before you get that million, start thinking ahead, start cultivating. I'm already an entrepreneur, thanks to you. So you know, start learning. If there are books that you should read, start reading wide, start studying wide. If there is a business that you want to invest in, know about it before you just jump in. You don't just jump in because everyone is doing well in that. Because if you jump in, you might be the unlucky one. So
and lose $200. Yours might be $1 million, $1,000.
You know. So before you engage yourself in something, learn about it, invest your time in becoming it, and before you realize, you'll now be an entrepreneur. You'll now be marketing businesses of rich people and all that. So thank you guys for listening to this, and thank you guys. Hope you learned a lot, and hope you now know how to be an entrepreneur and how to do it right. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir.